This is Mainstream Metaphysics with your host, Nick Newmont.
Well, welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics. I'm Nick Newmont. 5 years. Can you believe it? Amazing. Welcome to our special anniversary show. With me is my wife, Audrey, who's a huge part of why this show goes on. And we have our first special guest. This is our daughter, Milena Newmont. So that music that you hear in the beginning, that is composed by Milena. And it's amazing.
Thank you.
First of all, Audrey, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
I mean, it has been 5 years, and in a little bit, our guests are going to intertwine in how all this unfolded. We've had several incarnations of this show that started at LA Talk Radio. Then with COVID, it was in the center, our individual offices. Audrey wasn't the originally part of LA Talk Radio. Then she came in when we went into the video studio, right?
Right.
And then we were co-hosting with, a third guest. And then here we are at Conejo Valley Talk Radio. Audrey sometimes is here. Sometimes she is, Audrey is so cool with her technology. She actually has created a studio out of a closet in our loft at home. The recent shows.
Nowhere like what it has created here. This is amazing.
This is amazing. Now, first of all, welcome to your first live appearance on any kind of media.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I appreciate you coming, and I know that this is a little new and different for you.
A little bit now, but it's okay.
Look, the music that Milena does is called EDM, electronic dance music, right?
Right.
And your story about getting into music as a profession and is kind of fascinating because we knew Milena, all the way up, and she was always performing and playing her ukulele, and she's played the drums, she played the trumpet in middle school jazz band, has played the guitar. You play a lot of different instruments, and when you play the piano in our entryway in our home, I feel like I'm at a luxurious hotel where it's the piano bar going. Anyway, So what happened at COVID? You were a softball player.
Yeah, I mean, I was, but I think things just took a turn. I didn't have the same love for it as I did before. I mean, I really liked playing with my friends, and that was nice. I think I was going through a lot of anxiety, so when I would play softball, that kind of took over, and I think I turned to the piano because that was my safe space, and I was really calm there. Mm-hmm. And it's just something about the piano when I play it. It's, you feel it on the inside, and to make something new and to compose, it's just, I don't know, it's nice. It's like I didn't know I could do that, and to produce, it's crazy. I'm still getting used to it, but yeah,
it's fun.
It is fun. I like it a lot.
I love my concerts.
Well, you're a senior at Cal Lutheran University. You major in music, all right?
Yeah.
Well, why is your why do you lean toward EDM of all the different kinds of music?
I think, like I'm saying, you feel it. I feel EDM the most between the bass, the kick drum, the different percussion. It's just because I'm sober. It's my way of I'm not doing drugs, but it's you feel it so much.
Right.
And
it's your high.
It's my high. Yeah. I just I look up to a lot of artists. I actually on SoundCloud. I'll listen to a lot of underground artists, and it's between UK drum style and different deep bass artists. It's just I don't know. I lean towards it. It's fun to make. I like finding different samples to work with and mixing my stuff. And yeah.
Well, we're going to play a track right now, but you said it's untitled and unreleased.
It is. Still working on it. Hope to release it soon.
What caused you to give a song a title? What?
I don't know. It just comes to me.
All right, good enough.
I don't really think about it. It just pops into my head, whatever I'm feeling.
So the track we're going to play now is a recent track, right?
Last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
really fresh.
Yeah.
All right, Ed.
We'll get this up. For those of you at home that are turned up. To listen to them and enjoy them. I, in particular, I know you like the EDM, but I really love your piano music. I could just sit and listen to that all day. I created a whole evening of ladies to come over and have a little concert with her.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Is the sound back on?
Yeah, something.
I know you like the piano music, but that bounces from one to another. You know, I'll compose something on the piano and then just make it digital. So
Very cool.
best of both worlds.
One of the things I want to say about you, and this is a real test and a compliment, given that I was a DJ, a club DJ back in the 70s, there's a couple times you were playing tracks, and it was so good that I thought it was something you were listening to on Apple Music or whatever. And you're like, no, that's mine.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like, here, like really good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, hopefully it will be on Apple Music soon. A couple months, for sure.
Well, you know, have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, right?
Definitely.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming onto the show and
I
sharing the
appreciate it.
music.
Of course.
And, you know, Milena, keep inspiring other people,
Thank
okay? Because you are an inspiration to people.
Get it from you guys.
All right.
All right.
Love
Pleasure.
you. Did you just shake his head?
Yes, that's Milena Newmont, up and coming budding musician. All right, Ed, do we have our Sheena?
Sheena? Yeah.
Yep.
So she's available.
Okay, let's bring her on.
Alrighty.
Sheena Meadow.
Hi.
Oh, there she is,
Hi,
Sheena.
friends.
Hi, how
How
are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
We're really good. I wanted you to come on for a little bit because
Yeah.
you're part of how we got started in LA Talk Radio. And back in, oh yes, thank you. So it was mid-October of 2019, and we met you, and you invited me to come on your show, and I think we did a 2-hour show. I think it was
Yeah.
extensive, and it was in the smaller, what was considered the audio only booth, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And,
My
and
tiny
it was
studio. Yeah.
right over there in Sherman Oaks. And it was so much fun that I really loved it. And thank you. You introduced me to Sam at LA Talk Radio. And from there, it took off. And here we are 5 years to the day, you know.
How about that?
Mainstream Metaphysics is still up and running.
Was I one of your first guests?
You were my second guest because
Okay, yeah,
you
I thought
couldn't be on my first show. My first guest is
Right.
actually on later on this evening.
Nice.
So and where do you do your show out of?
I have created a studio in my home now. So during COVID, because our lives all changed during COVID, right? I relocated to Huntington Beach, where I grew up, and I live in the house I grew up in. I thought it was going to be too sad to live there because of my mother's energy, but it's actually amazingly inspiring to live there. And so I turned her office into my office, which is now my studio, until I expand the house and build a separate studio, which I'm planning to do. I do all of my work out of there, and I do... Oh goodness, I have 3 radio shows and I'm launching a 4th, and I have 2 video shows and I'm launching a 3rd, and then I do social media broadcasts and interviews on other people's shows and my monthly interfaith church service, and I do it all from my office, and the cat stars in a lot of the videos, as he may show up today. He's sitting right next to me right now, but he may show up today. And I love it. I love being able to be in my home. And I love being able to be at the ocean. I live about a quarter of a mile from the ocean, right up next to the Bolsa Chica wetlands, where, it's an Indian burial grounds. There's all that energy, and there's heron and coyotes, and everybody walks up and down the street. So it's just turned into a magical place to create. And my spiritual practice has thrived there. And I love it. So right now we're not there. Right now we're actually in a motel out of town because they're remodeling my upstairs. So the cat and I got out of Dodge.
Sheena, I loved coming to that interfaith service that you had when I was actually able to be in person with you. That was just amazing.
Yes.
I loved it.
We're doing everything virtually now, but I imagine that will change as things become more of people start to get back to where they are. But I think people started doing things virtually and they loved it. I never have to worry now if a guest can come in studio. I never have to worry about where a guest lives or the times, because if they can only make it in the morning, I'll tape the show in the morning and then we still broadcast it live. Like, I just don't have to worry anymore. It's opened up so much freedom for my guests as well as for me. And I love that.
Cool. Sheena, stay with us for a few minutes. We're going to bring another in-studio guest on. And this guest actually knows you. Now,
Okay.
For those of you that are our viewers, this is a real treat and a real honor to have this person come on and be a guest on our podcast. This is a well-known actress, currently going into their 19th season of General Hospital, has been on many shows for kids, Jessie on the Disney Channel, on Cougar Town. I love that show. And she's in her on stage and in real life. She really is a one-woman show. I want to bring out Carolyn Hennessy.
Hello.
Thank you.
And she knows how to play games so well.
Yes, I do. Not the relationship kind, just the actual game kind. Yes,
Well,
exactly.
So now we let that cat out of the bag. So over almost 2 years now,
I think so, yeah.
you've introduced us to one of the most fun games that doesn't involve a board or a computer, right?
It's called Celebrity, and it's the easiest thing to play on the planet.
Right.
You need a pen and 10 scraps of paper and a bunch of friends who want to laugh and be silly and just, have the best time. Yes, you write down the names of 10 celebrities, male, female, living, dead, fictional, non-fictional animals, sometimes, bands, who knows, and you put them in the bowl, and then you divide into teams, and each team has a minute for every round, and you kind of trade off who gives and who receives, and you have to get apparently it's like, what is it?
Like password.
Like password, yeah. You have to get your team to say the name on the piece of paper without actually saying the name. And what people come up with, in fact, we now have a whole group that gets together, and I explain the rules every time, and I say the names that you need to write. You have to assume that like at least 60% of the people in the room know who that person is. Or you have to be able to parse it out. You have to be able to get somebody to be able to kind of break it down. For instance, a not good name would be Leni Riefenstahl. This is very funny because very few people know that she was like Hitler's documentarian. Okay, she was. But if somebody doesn't know that, try to get them to say it. What are you going to do? Anyway, and it was very funny because you were for your birthday, you just got a book on Leni Riefenstahl.
Just got it.
But a good example of a good name is Charles Osgood, because you can break that down. Anyway, So we have been playing Celebrity for about 2 years now.
Right.
A potluck, once a month, and just howling with laughter.
Right.
Sheena, you would have so much fun with
Right.
that.
I
It
think
would
she
be
would.
awesome
I
to
think
have
she
you
would.
come up and play with
Sure.
us.
Yeah.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
I'd love that.
It's hysterical.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm
How do you
good.
two
How are
know
You look
each
beautiful.
other?
We met.
Oh.
Where did we meet? Wait, where did
You
we meet?
came and did my show because you were doing an animal charity
Right.
fundraiser.
Right.
Outdoors somewhere, a day thing, and they sent all the celebrities from it to me, and you were one of them.
Exactly.
And then we just became buddies. And
That's
actually,
it.
by Raising the Vibration show that I do,
That's
which
right.
I still do, Carolyn was my first guest.
I think, what was I? Your very first?
You were
I love that.
You were the very
I love
first
that.
guest for that. Yep, the beginning
I
of
love that.
2017,
Well,
right after I founded my nonprofit. So
we
you'll always
raised-
be first, baby.
We raised a few vibrations, I think.
We've raised a few
Yeah,
vibrations.
we've
in
raised
our
a few
day.
vibrations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of vibrations, you were on my show back in the COVID days or
Yep.
whatever
Yep.
at the center. And the
Right.
reason you were on my show is not because of the entertainment industry.
Nope.
Because you do something that
It's a little unique, and not a lot of people have heard of it. I think Sheena knows about it, of course. It's called hoodoo, not voodoo.
Yes.
Yep, hoodoo, Hoodoo. It can be an adjective, it can be a verb, it can be a noun, it can be many things. But it is. I just fell in love with it when I first discovered it because I call it small magic with a big impact, and it's basically Southern African American folk magic, which came to us from those individuals that were taken against their will from Central and Western Africa. And they came over and they cobbled together, they brought with them their own spiritual traditions, but they obviously couldn't find all of the utensils, the roots, the herbs that they were working with back in their homeland. So they had to kind of cobble it together here. They also had the influence of Christianity from their owners, who made them go to church and learn how to read the Bible. So all of these influences kind of came in. They also learned from the American Indians about the use of roots and herbs. And so I just fell in love with it because it's, as opposed to other individuals that were taken out of Africa and landed, for instance, in the Dominican Republic or Cuba or, Haiti, where they brought their own institutions, and, voodoo came out of that. Unlike voodoo, unlike a lot of like Paulo, this is not a religion. So you don't need an intercessor. There are no priests, priestesses, there are no sacrifices, and you don't need an intercessor with spirit, and because you are the intercessor. You are doing it. It is your energy, your work, and I fell in love with it, and I've been using it, and I have a whole line of oils that I created, and people will come to me. I actually have clients now. People will come to me and say,
Wow.
I need this and that and this and that, and I say, okay, do this and this. And the first time I realized, a friend of mine said, I have not booked an acting gig, and I can't tell you how long. And I said, come on over. And I just kind of become a sort of a licensed, practitioner, if you will. And I said, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And she called me 3 days later, and she said, I booked a job. And I went, okay, all right, all right. There might be something to this. So that's what I do.
That's really cool.
It's a lot of fun. One whole side of my kitchen is herbs and crystals and lodestones and,
Nice.
Well, you have a really cool house.
I do. Yeah,
You
thank
have
you.
a really cool house. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the cat.
Oh,
The
it's
cat's
a
there.
cat.
I warned you he would come. Yeah, he
Yep.
likes to. He can only go so many minutes without hugging his mommy. So we passed the time limit for hugging. So it was time for a hug.
Oh, cool.
Love that.
That's really cool.
That's a great cat.
Sheena, I want to say
Yes.
thank you for coming on the show. In
My
future
pleasure.
shows, let's have you on as a guest for the whole thing. Okay.
I'd love that. Absolutely. Sure.
But I want to say again, thank you, because you bringing me on your show on LA Talk Radio is what kicked all this into motion.
Thank you.
All right.
Of course.
And, always grateful. But again, thank you. And talk to you
You're very
soon.
welcome.
Everyone, this is Sheena Metal. She's
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you.
Yes, she is.
Keep doing good work.
Sheena's a good egg.
Yes, she
And
is.
I
is.
missed it. How did you two find each other for you to come on her show?
I think Becca.
Oh, was it Becca?
Yeah, Becca.
My sister-in-law knows the world.
So you introduced her to Becca, and then Becca introduced her to.
to you guys.
Yep.
Right.
See?
Well, then,
It's 'cause of you.
no, then I'm the focal point. It's me. I'm the yenta. I'm the spiritual
6
yenta.
degrees of separation from Carolyn Hennessy. That's great.
I love it.
Well, one thing you were talking about with the hoodoo
Mm-hmm.
is that having fun. And that's something that in the world today we need to do more of. It's just more and more
Heavens,
fun.
yes. Yeah, if what you're doing either, just if waking up in the morning isn't fun, make it fun. If what you're doing for a living isn't fun, find a way to make it fun. Because I think it's our job as human beings to spread, and this word is kind of is being played out a little bit now, is to spread the joy. So you can't do that if you're not happy. And so our job is to be happy. Find it within ourselves, because I'll tell you something, there's nothing that will bring down a soundstage or a theater or a work environment. Cuba is somebody who walks in and they're just, their energy is at low ebb, and they're choosing it. They want to be cranky and curmudgeonly. They end up being the butt of the jokes, and hopefully people can rise above it. But boy, it just takes one. It takes one to sort of bring everybody down, because it changes the vibration. It changes the whole tenor of the office or the makeup room or whatever it is. It is our job to be happy, and sometimes that's the hardest thing in the world to do. It is so difficult. But this is where you'd behave as if. Because, as I always say, 2 kinds of people in the world, only 2. It's not the Irish and everybody else, the way most people think. It's not. It's those who elevate themselves by elevating others, and those who elevate themselves by destroying others. And there's so many of the latter, and so few of the former, that it's our job to, I think, be as happy as we possibly can, because it spreads like lice. It just infects everybody. That's it.
Jeez.
I don't know why I picked that,
Well.
but I did. So there you go.
Well, that's
That's
why
right.
we came
Then we all
into
kind of go
these.
like this. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Oh, hey, I'm happy. Oh, I'm happy.
Ed, do we have our next Zoom guest?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's bring her on, please.
Catherine?
It's hysterical. Yes,
Yes, Catherine, hold on.
Catherine Glass in the house.
Give me 1 second.
that was really
I don't
funny.
know why.
I like it.
Who knows? It
That's
spreads
why
like
we came on the planet, is to be in these beautiful, happy
So,
bodies.
from Massachusetts, we have Catherine Glass.
Hi.
Thank you. She is a medium extraordinaire, all right? And I have to tell you something with Catherine. Of all the different mediums that I've met, I've known a lot of them, but when Catherine does a gallery, is what she calls it, there is a wow factor.
really.
And people leave going, wow. Okay? You giggle. Yeah, Stevie Nicks. How are you?
I'm great, Nick. Hi, Audrey.
Hi, Annie.
I can't see where to look in my computer. The camera's like there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, you're fine. You're
Yeah,
fine.
you brought in my mother in one of your galleries talking about the Catwoman, and I was like, is she talking about my mother? And you just read it, and you were that day you just read so many people. You're just phenomenal at what you do.
Well, thank you. It's not me, really. I'm just the antenna. It's them.
You're an
It's the
awesome
spirit world.
antenna.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
thank you for being on take the time. I know it's later back there, for coming onto the show. We love having you at the center, and we love when you appear on the show. Your messages are so good, and you're absolutely delightful to interview. You know,
Well, thank you.
One of the cool things about you, Catherine, and I'm being very genuine here, you're very unassuming. Okay, you know, the way you are with the gifts you have. You know, you ride the middle very nicely. There's no ego. You don't come off like you're, you know, it's like you're just right down the middle with it. You take it in stride.
I definitely do. Thank
and-
you.
and
Worked hard
you're,
at it though. In the beginning, I think I was more freaked out and nervous about it, but you just develop a relationship and it all comes together with experience.
Absolutely. So the question that we want to know is, when are you coming to California again?
Definitely. I'm
Yes.
intrigued. Or actually, where in Massachusetts are you, if I might ask?
I'm outside of Boston in Concord, Massachusetts,
Okay,
near
all
the Lexington, Minuteman Bridge, where where it all happened.
Where it all happened, where it all went down. Okay, gotcha.
The Revolution, the North Bridge. Yeah.
Catherine, I'm going to ask you a
the home of
question
Emerson. Yeah.
that I've never asked you this before. Given where you live and the history of the Revolutionary War, do you ever go for a walk down the street, and all of a sudden there's...
Nathan Hale.
No, but I did do for Fox TV. I did a mediumship, interview walkthrough of the Colonial Inn, which is right. It's in Concord actually, where they had hidden the soldiers, used it as a base during that time, and it was a hospital actually for the wounded soldiers. And I walked through and didn't know anything about this part of the history. I knew, a few things about the Revolution in Concord, but I didn't know the Colonial Inn was used for that. And so they chose me as the medium for that segment because I live in Concord and I had enough of a reputation, I suppose, and I was invited to be on this Fox show. And so, yeah, there was a hospital, and I just picked up the doctor and his name and everything, and then I kept seeing young kids, ill kids, sick kids, but also teenage boys, and they said they were the Americans, the soon-to-be Americans, fighting the British with whatever they had on hand, guns and rakes and whatever they had. And they'd get wounded, and they would come in there, and there was also the morgue. She walked me through what was the morgue. That was a whole different vibe
wow.
than the hospital room where the living were being treated. It was really interesting.
To say the
And
least.
I'm a relative of Ralph Waldo Emerson, who's from Concord. So I think that's another reason they were interested in having me be their medium, because of that connection to the Transcendentalists. So
He's one
it
of
was
my
a real fun
favorites.
thing. Yeah,
That's
he's my
cool.
cousin.
That's
Wow.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, we definitely would like to get you back out to California.
Oh,
for
so I'm
another
supposed to
meeting.
come in March. Sorry, Nick, to interrupt
Ooh.
you. I'm thinking about, myself and two other colleagues of mine, two mediums, Deborah Livingston and Sharon Pugh, are talking right now about planning an event, maybe back at the Santa Clarita Theater that we did last year in March when I was with the other mediums, Inanna and Jill M. Jackson. So we're thinking about, they want, we're all like, we want to go back to California. So we may go to the Santa Clarita. We're actually looking for a venue for a big event. But, while I'm there, I can make a point to stop by and see you guys and whatever, maybe do an event, I don't know, or a class or something.
Yes.
Definitely. Please.
Sure.
Please.
Well,
I'm saying yes. I vote yes for that.
It would be well attended, absolutely, because you don't come here that often, and at some point because the time goes on fast. Whether it's Audrey's program or my program, we want to have you on as a guest, a whole show.
Oh,
with
it's always
you.
a pleasure, you guys. It's great. It was so wonderful to bump into you non-accidentally, of course. You know how the universe works. We're all 6 degrees separation. And coming on whenever it was a couple of years ago and then coming out to your place was just wonderful. It was heavenly. It was really great.
Thank you.
No
Thank you.
pun
Thank you.
intended.
Before we let her go, any questions for Catherine?
I'm just coming because I was just there in Great Barrington doing a play, and I thought, boy, and I made myself so indispensable to the Great Barrington Public Theater Company that I'm going to go back out there again in June, July, and I'm going to come
wonderful.
coming to visit you.
You know, Caroline, I come from a long line of actors, and my whole family were in theater. So I have great respect for you. And in fact, that's the path I was on when I bumped into my other talents and ended up going that direction instead.
Yes.
But I just want to say, and this is probably going to be frustrating, would you, when you came on the show tonight, I really felt your father around strongly, hopefully mediumistically. Has he passed?
He did.
So when you started talking about the gifts, the funny part, the entertainer part of your life. You weren't into the hoodoo yet, but you were talking about laughter or something, joy and all that. But even before the joy with the hoodoo, it was you coming on and talking about something else. I was kind of in two worlds, and I just felt your dad's personality really strongly around me. I felt like he was proud of you, like, yeah, she gets that from me, or he was, what's the word when you're very jovial and happy?
Oh, a bon
Was he
vivant.
like
Basically, the word is Carolyn. I mean, joyous, ebullient. You know.
Yes. Was he like that? Was he
He
funny?
could be.
Or
He could be. He could be the life of the party. A wicked wit. Wicked wit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
But
he's saying that you used it more wisely or constructively than he was able to, or something. He had another side of him that was too
dark. Yeah.
stern, dark, focused on something else.
Yeah.
Couldn't let it come out as effortlessly as you do, and that's why he's applauding you from spirit for what you've done with your performing self, but also bringing joy to the world in these other manners that you're speaking of. So he's evolving too, you know.
I
on the other
strive
side,
every
so.
day to make my father proud. That's my
Well,
goal.
I think you've succeeded, because I felt him very strongly around you just watching your segment here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, turn the camera off me for a moment because I'm verklempt. I'm just I'm gonna go do something else. No, I'm fine.
That was awesome. Way to go.
Just call me Barbara Walters and make people cry, you know.
Listen, in the best possible way. That in itself, it's like, yeah, spreading joy. Doesn't look like it, but it is.
That's what it's all about.
It is.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Catherine, we're going to let you go. We've got more
Thank
people
you.
to bring on. Thanks for taking the time back east where it's late to be with us. And we'll have you, whether it's Audrey or me, we'll have you on, our shows full time. Coming up, all right?
Great.
So good to see
Looking
you,
forward to
sweetheart.
it.
Great seeing you. We
Lots
appreciate
of
you.
love, guys.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye.
Good night. That's Catherine
okay.
Glass.
All right. Okay. Just I need a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's so interesting. It's so interesting because someone else I know who we know, I won't mention their name, but says that my mother is around me all the time. Like, oh, okay. But I'm glad that it thrills me no end that she picked up on my father, because my father was just, he was the defining influence in my life. And being in the entertainment industry where there's not a lot of joy, it's like I got a whole work ethic from my father, and I got that at a very young age. So I was able to then build on that and kind of go, okay, I'm comfortable with that now. How can I expand that into being a joy on set, being a, you know what I mean? You strive for that. So
Right. And what's really cool is that was pure. That was unsolicited.
yeah, no,
So there's no questions that she just did it.
I'd never met her. I'd never seen Stevie Nicks before. Because she does look like Stevie
She
Nicks.
does.
She's actually a little prettier than
Definitely.
Stevie Nicks.
Now we're going to have the, what we call it, the quadfecta, because we're going to bring out another guest to be with us, and it's someone else that plays celebrity. And
love her.
where is Catherine? Oh, let's bring her on.
Catherine.
We're going to bring out a very, very good friend now that I've known since before Audrey. Okay. It's a metaphysician, a spiritualist, someone who's a lot of fun. Welcome to the show, Catherine Melton.
Hello,
Hello.
Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. My gosh, this 5-year anniversary, this is a big
It
deal.
really is.
Yeah,
It
thank
is a
you.
big deal. So I'm honored.
So you're of all the people that I know that are here tonight, I've known you longer than anyone. It's really cool, including Audrey.
Yeah.
We go back to like 1995, 96 in there.
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, coming up on 30 years. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
I was only 12, but
right. Yeah. Well, I was 9.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
9.
He was 9. Okay.
So Catherine's story is really cool because, and I'm going to introduce, and then you got to take and run with it.
Oh, okay.
Catherine has evolved in consciousness so much, okay? And I saw all these gifts that she had way back, and Catherine is kind of like,
No.
and she has, through the center, has taken tons of classes, and she does same energy work on people. She has gone out on house blessings with me, so she does very high-end ritual. And you also put your own spin on it. So
Yeah. It's been quite a ride, Nick. Thanks to you. As I first came to see you as a client, of course. I had read a book called Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss. It's an awesome book.
Yep.
And I became obsessed with wanting to experience a past life regression. So I was seeing someone, I was seeing a therapist at the time, and she recommended you. And so I went to see you. And even from the beginning, you were saying, you're supposed to be doing this work, Catherine. You're supposed to be doing this work. And I'm like, okay. So, but then, I started taking the classes. You've given such great classes at the Newmont Center. And so I've done, many of them, and sometimes more than once. So I went from being a client to being a student, and then to being an assistant, because I assist you with, some of the classes and also with, some of the work.
yeah, she's TA'd classes.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And also doing the house blessings, which you mentioned. But my favorite thing, and the thing that I am just so passionate about, is the energy work, the chakra balancing and healing. Because, as you know, Nick, my background is nursing. Come from a long line of nurses and people who worked in hospitals, and I was always fascinated by that. And I followed suit. I have my bachelor's in nursing, and then, but I always knew there was something more, something deeper. As a little kid, I was always the one that could, see stuff, and I'm hearing stuff, and I was the weird kid. So, but I always knew there was something else going on, and I knew that I was born and raised in Omaha, and I knew that Midwest probably I could not find maybe what I was truly looking for, and so I found it here in California, and. So once I got into the habit of doing the energy work and using my hands, which is, what I did as a nurse. And once I got through my head what the connection is between science and spirit, because there is no separation between science and in fact, I always say that science is the language of spirit. And
Okay, I need a moment. I got to process that. That's fantastic.
Oh.
I'm stealing that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
I'm stealing it.
So yes, that is my passion, and I love doing that work. And I also, as you mentioned, do the property blessings and that kind of thing. But the chakra stuff, that's my heart.
Yeah. And people have been pleased with your work.
Yeah.
Like Catherine doesn't talk about it, but Catherine has also done acting work and stand-up comedy.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
What are these hidden talents?
I know.
I'm just now.
I know.
How long have we
they're-
been playing
no, that's-
celebrity? What's happening? What's going on? Why have I never heard this?
Well, I don't know. Isn't that something? Yes, but I did.
I
I
know
have done
now.
some stuff for a while.
Welcome
I've
to
done stand
Tell
up
the Truth.
To tell the truth.
Right.
What's my line?
What's my line? That's the one. I remember that show. Oh Lord. But yeah, I've done that too. So I have a lot of different things that I do
And have fun.
and have fun doing it.
And
just
have
like you
fun.
said.
And have fun being Granny.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if you knew, Carolyn, that Nick and Audrey actually did the wedding ceremony for my son, my only child, and his wife.
No, I didn't know this.
Yes.
Everyone keeps everything from me.
Well, now it's all coming out.
We should
Come on
hang
the
out
show
more
more
often.
often.
It's all
Yes.
coming out. It's all coming out. And so yes, they performed the ceremony in 2020.
On the
And
hottest
in the
day
midst
It's
of the year.
115
in the
degrees
midst
Oh my
of
gosh.
in Reseda.
of
Yes.
a pandemic.
The candle that
my
we
God.
had was like melting.
It was going.
That was, but it was a
I know.
beautiful ceremony.
It
Anyway,
was a
it was just
beautiful
lovely.
ceremony. I think Melissa might be watching now.
She
Is
is. Hi,
Is she? Oh,
Melissa.
hi, Melissa.
The mom to that beautiful. Oh my God, I love to look at your
Who's
granddaughter.
3 years old now? Yes. So
Wow.
so yeah, Granny. I have to do Granny duty in there too. I have to get that all in there. So yeah, I'm having a ball. I love teaching and talking about chakras and what they are, and because most people don't even know what they are, they've even heard of them and don't know what it is. But I like sharing that information about what they are, why they matter, why it's important to keep them healthy for your physical, not only your physical body, but your emotional health. And Nick, I don't think I've shared this with you yet. I'm doing
Drum roll.
a women's retreat called, get this, you'll like this. It's called Serenity, Chakras, and Sangria.
Oh,
Well,
It's going to be next spring out in Temecula, April 4th through the 7th. So it's a women's retreat, and we're going to spend 3 days, just taking care of ourselves, doing
Lots of
self-care
wineries,
and lots
so-
of
Yeah,
lots of
Temecula.
wineries out there.
You bet.
And then also doing the spiritual work, and again, I get to teach about chakras and why they're
chakras
important.
look like wine
Wine
glasses.
glasses, don't they?
Yes,
I know.
they do.
They do.
I know. I remember the first time I could actually visualize one, and that was again a class that you were teaching. And there were other students in the class, and I looked around, and nobody was saying anything, And I finally said, "Does anybody see that cup spinning around on top of her head?
That's
Does
funny.
anybody else see this?" And then one other person said, "Yeah, I see it."
Wow, that's cool.
So it made me know I wasn't totally crazy.
I'm really thrilled that you're talking about teaching, because that's your next level, is teaching. And you can take what you've learned from me and put your own twist on it.
Yeah.
You can be literal, you can put your own, but yes.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
when you take, what you know metaphysically and combine it with your nursing background, I think you've got something there.
Powerful combination.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And in some countries over in Europe, they're already doing that. You go to your doctor, you get a physical exam, and you get an energy exam. Now that's what I'm talking about.
That's
here.
smart.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on and spending
Thank you
time
so
with
much
us.
for having
Appreciate you on all levels.
Great,
on
great.
all levels.
Well, I always call Nick my brother from another mother. So
Well, we talk
has
about
been great.
football and basketball.
yeah.
We
And
talk about
Music.
music.
everything.
Movies.
We very, very similar
Fun
music
stuff.
tastes.
Yes. So thank you for having
I'm
me.
going to get an energy reading from you.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah. Just,
Okay.
stand up. Wait outside.
I will.
All right. Thank you. Thank
Have
you.
fun.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
You
you.
too. For a moment, yes.
Yeah.
Now, before we bring in another guest, where's your book? When is your
Where?
book coming out?
Well, it is with the publisher. My part is all done. I'm waiting for them to show me the layout for it and have it all put together and approve it and move it to the next level. Thank goodness.
When I was thinking about 5 years of this show, we've been talking about your book in that same time
For
frame.
6 years.
Right. So I was thinking about all the different correlations.
Your guests probably know, but tell me about the book.
It's a book called The Mind Road Trip, and it's to play your way to consciousness. So it's literally a game format. There's a game board. The game piece is a card that represents the body.
Yep.
The driver is the soul. It's in 3 versions of the driver: the number 1 driver, the adult in the front seat, the kid in the back seat who's got all the feels. So he's the one or she's the one that's literally letting you know when things are askew. And then in the game board, it's to go around and to literally do a process of recognizing your unconscious so that you become more conscious. So you go to the tools and then you are in cruise control. Right. And it's a whole process to literally change your consciousness, to transform your thinking.
It's an actual game.
Yeah.
Should we maybe play that one month instead of celebrity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, speaking of celebrity,
yes,
we've got another really awesome guest, and I'm so grateful. I love comedy, all right? No. And I can name tons and tons of comics going back to when I watched Ed Sullivan in my grandparents' house. And in 1995, I went to the HBO Comedy Relief at the Universal Amphitheater and caught on to this gentleman and have been following him ever since. Please welcome to the stage the Love Master, Craig Shoemaker.
And then we became friends. How about that?
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
And you ate the meatballs that are our family recipe, and I spoiled you.
I've been asking for the recipe for a while.
And you
come to the game night, we'll give you some meatballs.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought there would be some here. I came a little hungry. And I've been hitting up his sister on she won't give it up either. In Pittsburgh, I performed in Pittsburgh. Give me that recipe. Your brother won't give it to me. Hold on, I gotta get settled here. You ever leave the house and you do this? You frisk yourself like you're with the TSA,
and then I still forget everything.
Exactly. You know that song when you're a kid, head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Yes.
I found an adult version. It's like glasses, wallet, keys, and phone. Glasses, wallet, keys, and phone. I forgot the doggy poop bag. Glasses, wallet, keys, and phone. I'm going out of my mind. We all grew up. We had a cord. A long cord was an upgrade on your phone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'm going crazy with all this. But anyway, I'm here.
I think you're the co-host for the second half of the show.
I am?
Yep.
I don't know what it means.
It means that you get to move over a chair.
Okay.
It's very exciting.
This is, I've been a co-host before. Did you know that? On a national television show.
On a national television
One of the worst shows in the history of television. I was a part of it.
Which would be?
The Magic Johnson show.
Yes. I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes, I do.
I lasted days. They took me off the couch in the middle of a show. Magic goes, we'll be back after this. Apparently that didn't include me. They said, we're going to be off the couch now. Let's go. So, so here I am.
Well, we won't kick you off. You're here till the end of the show.
I don't want to ruin your show.
No,
I'm watching all the people that are going offline now. Liz. All right, we better know.
Shoemaker's here.
My God.
All right, you move over. I'm going to give place.
Thank you.
I adore you. Thank you so much for having me. Congratulations on 5 years.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You are a joy.
Thank you.
This one over here. Well, I can't even talk about the Brett like that she is.
Here.
Lovely meeting you. I'm Carolyn, by the way.
Hi, Carolyn.
All right,
Hennessy?
Then. Yes. Oh, yes.
Is that you?
Yes.
Okay, I know you.
Okay.
She made something out of that I did not intend. Okay.
You got to come and play celebrity.
You know what? I'm going to hang around.
I've been bugging him to come and play.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I organized the whole thing.
You do? Yeah. Well, maybe that's how I know you.
So it can be the one place that you can go where we're to amuse you.
No, beautiful. I'm always up for that.
No. Oh, everyone amuses everybody.
I have children.
But what I'm saying
is,
you
have your work cut out for you.
Amusing.
It's hysterical. It's just so
a lot of fun.
I'm down with it. Okay,
all right.
Carolyn.
That's amuse, not abuse. Amuse.
Well,
Carolyn, thank you.
Good to see you again.
You too. Thank you so much, Carolyn.
See what a celebrity I am? She had no idea who I am.
Don't be silly.
Isn't he the guy that co-hosted the Magic Johnson show, got fired in the middle of the show?
Now,
yes.
First of all, thank you for coming on because you were my very first guest 5 years ago, October 29th, at LA Talk Radio in Sherman Oaks. Wow. You were my first guest, and I'm so thrilled that you were able to make it tonight.
You're still here after, see, I didn't crash your show. I'm known for doing it. I come to think of it, Pat Sajak, I was his first comedian. He had a late night show.
Yes, he did.
That was the end of that one. Rick Dees, I did his show. That was the end of that. So just beware. Hopefully you don't go by ratings.
Well, you already passed the test. We got 5 years on it now.
That's right. You should have.
Oh my God!
You should have advised Pat Sajak and Rick Dees and Magic Johnson.
Psychically.
Yeah, something like that. Yes. Are you? You might want to update that photo. It's been a little while.
No, she just wants me to grow my hair out. I update me to match the photo.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You know what I want to ask about? Can I ask?
Go,
you?
please.
yes.
So you're truly, he is probably the person that makes me laugh the hardest. I mean, when we're watching your show in particular, it's ridiculous. I never laugh that hard. But you do a process. You have a spiritual process that
Yeah.
you do as well.
Yeah.
That I think is very, very important for the moment. You do that laughitation.
Yeah, guided laughitation.
I want you to share with people what that is.
Well, I was never a great meditator because my mind is very active, as
No,
you can
you-
imagine. Being a creator, I mean, well, you know how it goes. You're a creative as well, and I would just sit there. And then once you have kids, then the meditation is really difficult because you're sitting there, oh no, I think they're going to set the house on fire or whatever it is. There's something I didn't do. I forgot the laundry, whatever it is. It's difficult for me. But if you laughitate, it's very active and it activates so much of your body that's not being activated when you meditate. So basically, I take people through breathing exercises. Well, I could do it with you right now. Just say the word "ha" is a very cleansing word. Have you ever been to church? You ever been to church back there in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, you did hallelujah, right?
Right.
Well, ha is a spiritual word. Hallelujah. So let's do some hallelujahs.
Okay.
Let out a ha when you breathe through your nose. Everybody go along with us at home. Ready? Ha. Feel the resonance. Do you feel that how
Yeah.
it cleanses? Ha is a beautiful word. Amen, Buddha, Allah, ha. It's very cleansing. Well, I take people through that, and then we get, I know we're pressed for time because we have other guests, right? So I won't take you through the whole thing, but you laugh, right? And then you say out loud whatever's bothering you, right? So my divorce, she took all the money. I can't put my kids through DeVry Institute. I have nothing left. Anyway, and then you understand after you finish that the meaninglessness of everything, and you're truly in connection with God, higher source, light, whatever that energy is that you call it. You can't be depressed while you're laughing. You can't be angry while you're laughing. They can't exist in the same space. So I teach this along with something I call chuckle chatter, where you just say out loud what you did today. Like, I woke up and had eggs. You shift all your consciousness into a beautiful vibration, and that's what I teach and coach, and it's been awesome. I mean, I did a pivot from the stand-up. Stand-up was one-offs, it's like you had great nights every time you see me. That's great. But then what are you walking away with? You might have a few chuckles or whatever then. So I give people the skills and the tools, and I take them through a whole program to deprogram how we're conditioned. We are conditioned not to laugh. We're not pursuing happiness in this country. We're pursuing lack of unity. This brings us all together. When you laugh as one, you've been in audiences before, right? Isn't it beautiful? And you don't know who's voting for who. You don't know how anybody stands. You're just in this beautiful, beautiful space that you've created together. It's a communion, and I just absolutely I've been doing it for a long time, but now I really get what it is. So I share the gift in a different way, where you can use this constantly throughout your life. Any day, I have a book coming out. Actually, you're the first to hear it.
Yes.
It's called Craig Shoemaker's Laugh-Formations, and the book contains it's a workbook of what makes you laugh, and it's a 40-day cleanse, and it takes people through. We have a prescription on there with quotes from different celebrities and people in history about the value of laughter, what it does to your body, and obviously scientifically, it oxygenates your body, healing endorphins are released. All of that is in the book, along with giggle bites. Those are my jokes, and I have them in cartoon form.
I love it.
Want to hear one of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've always been an advisor ever since I was a kid. They called me Papa Shoe, even growing up. My friends would go, "Oh, Papa Shoe, this girl dumped me." I'll handle this. I was always been like a rescuer, stayed with my mom. So my friend says to me, he says, I caught my son with S&M porn. And I said, oh, boy, well, definitely the punishment is do not spank him. Oh, God. Well, that was a delay. Let me show you, Audrey. Ah! And it kicked. You watched it kick in. It's hilarious.
Right.
That's funny. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And I've been watching you all these years, like 29 years,
Yeah.
watching you perform. And the question I have is really a technical kind of thing.
Okay, great.
You do a lot of voices.
Yeah.
Okay, Barney Fife, Love Master, Chris Rock. Okay.
I have some new ones too, by the way.
Okay. Well, the thing that we love is when you pick on young people in the audience and call them fetus.
Yes, the young people.
Okay.
I
But-
personally like Barney Fife a lot. We put him in the bowl for celebrity,
Oh.
and I also put your name in the bowl for celebrity.
Nobody knows who I am.
Oh yeah, well, it was really easy to act it out.
God.
Shoemaker
See, there.
and that.
Oh, you did Shoemaker. You didn't
Yeah.
go with the Love Master.
Well, famous comedian.
Right.
We got it. Like
Do you know
pretty
the story
quick.
behind Don Knotts, by the way? The night you saw me, I met him. You know, he was on that show, The Comic Relief, remember?
Yes.
They were celebrating the Steve Allen show. He was backstage, and everybody said the highlight for them was him back in the tent. It was at Universal, right?
Yep.
He's watching the TV, and he turns to Steve Allen. I'm doing him live in the other room. He turns to Steve Allen. He's really old, so he did a different voice. He goes, "He does me pretty good, doesn't he, Steve?" So then they posed us next to each other. And after the show, we did a press conference. All of a sudden, he comes up. He's standing next to me, my idol. He goes, "You do me pretty good. You do me better than me." So it's really cool. And then I looped him in the movie Pleasantville after that. He was sick and he couldn't do most of the lines. It's actually me in the movie lipping him.
Oh, wow.
Voicing Don Knotts. He circles the apple on the telestrator. It's my voice going, "Boom, what do you call that right there, bud? The forbidden fruit here in Pleasantville. I'm your TV repairman, bud." I had to do him as an old guy.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I've watched the movie. It's kind of fun.
So the question I have for you.
Ted
because
Silverberg.
I know, aloha in Hawaii.
Ted Silverberg.
Mutual
I told him to watch because he's the reason. I thought he's the one that introduced us.
Yes. That's how we know each other.
And you don't ever believe how I know him. I know him from 7th and 8th grade in Philadelphia. We grew up in the same neighborhood. Our sisters were friends. We were friends. He taught me Hebrew when we were little kids. And then he moved to California. We never heard from him. All those years, he was an adult. All those years, never heard from Ted Silver. I always knew who he was. He was like a stud even in 7th grade. But anyway, his sister gets us together, and he goes, "Oh, I heard you're a comedian." He has no idea. He doesn't even remember me. He has no memory. Poor Ted. He got hit by a few surfboards.
Yes.
Wait, so Ted, he says to me, "I listened to the Sirius XM on my way to work." He goes, "This comedian does this bit about the tournament." I go, "That's me." And he goes, "That's you? You're my favorite comedian." It's crazy, yeah.
That's hysterical. He and
That's
I are
funny.
friends. That guy lives in the ocean.
He lives in the ocean. And
lives
so
in
does
the
his
ocean.
wife, Heather, is literally a mermaid.
Ted, I like watching your pictures in there and the things you do. You and I are friends.
I
Yeah.
was in a networking group in Santa Monica. That's how I met Ted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I actually
And I'm
bought,
forming a network group here. Have I told you that?
No.
Oh, yeah, a local one. Business people. It's I've heard of masterminds. This is Mastermind Spirit. So you
love it.
combine all of it, entertainment, inspiration, combine all of it with local groups, entrepreneurs and business people. Ted would love that.
yeah, he
But
would-
Ted's in
he-
Hawaii now. What are
I
you
know,
thinking?
poor Ted.
You
Oh,
left too
Ted.
soon, Ted.
Yeah.
So before we bring Brandon onto the stage, through the years of doing these characters,
Yeah.
because our voice boxes do change
Yes, they
as we
do,
age,
yeah.
does it challenge you to do any of those voices at all?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I can't do Chris Rock as well. I can still do them all, but now actually the register is even better for other impressions, like Morgan Freeman I could do now. Ready?
Yes.
From Shawshank. In 1966, I entered the frame, left Shawshank prison. All they found was a set of muddy prison clothes, an old bar of soap, and a rock hammer, and they worn down to the nub.
Oh,
And
That's
That is
good.
so good.
That's
or
good.
Liam Neeson from Taken. I have a very special set of skills I have acquired over a long career, skills that help me deal with people like you. If you let my daughter go, I will not look for you. I will not find you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you, and I will kill you.
You even, like on the screen, you even look like it.
right?
Wow.
I look like Barney 5 too.
You know what I
These
told
characters
Nick?
consume me.
I told Nick after we saw your last show, you have actually gotten even better as you're getting older with the faces and the way
Yeah.
that you portray them. It's so good. So
Well,
fun.
a comedy period is easier for me now because comedy really is about, all art is about knowing your voice. And if I ever knew my voice, it's now. You know what I mean? I've been through so much diversity. That's why I'm really into the spiritualness of life. Is I would have been dead, and I did die. I tried suicide. I died once. I was really in a bad way. And I just changed. It all shifted, and everything is so beautiful now that even through the diversity of having, my podcast is called My Wife Joined a Cult. She joined a cult and destroyed a whole thing. And I'm still here. My kids, as a matter of fact, right now they're with my spiritual counselor as we speak. They meet with him, and I'm making sure that they have spirit in their lives. They understand what that's about at a very early age, 10 and 15. And I'm loving that. I still love my life no matter what happens. But now I can really use the alchemy of laughter in my life and transmute that pain into something that's really transformative and beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful to laugh. It uplifts all of us.
Totally.
But there's a lot of different ways to inspire, and our next guest uses physical training to inspire. This is someone who's been on the show many times, and we're going to bring out trainer and the owner of Run Free Running Club, Brandon Fravel. There we go. Hi. How are you?
He's waiting for a better intro,
Right.
with a lot of
You should have an applause track.
Canned laughter like the Lucy
something
song.
like that. He's walking in going, "Who's going to give me a little something?" I'm up here like he made a putt.
How about that one, Jim?
Brandon, sunk that from 20 feet.
So, welcome. You've
Thanks, Nick.
been on
Thanks,
a bunch
Audrey.
of times.
Pleasure.
And, one of the things I wanted to ask you, because you
Sure.
are a good trainer and you lead by example. I mean, you've run as much as 55 miles in one day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some of us don't run that far in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Look at Craig.
I went for my first run in years, dude. 2 blocks in, and some pulls a carver goes, "Are you okay?" I got in. I just got in. Took me the rest of the
It was
way.
an Uber, huh?
Exactly.
So one of the things I want to ask you, because you train in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And if you don't know this by now, I have trained with Brandon, and he's really good at what he does. But what if you have someone that they know they need to work out, they don't work out? I mean, how do you get through to someone to get in their head? And by the way, Brandon, like Catherine Melton, you've taken a lot of classes at the center.
I have.
You energy work. You're a very well-rounded. You're not
Try to be.
Yeah,
I try to be.
not the typical trainer. Some of us are well-rounded. How do you get in someone's head the right way?
Jeez,
get
that's a tough question right there.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
I ask tough questions.
so it's funny that you bring that up, because I literally just had this conversation with like 2 of my clients today, and literally I tell them it's you versus you, right? So like if you're doing this to please people, then you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for them, right? So when you kind of take back that mindset, you kind of think, okay, am I getting up early to run, to work out, to eat better, to whatever it may be? Am I doing it for myself? Am I doing it for longevity of kids, like for grandkids, whatever it may be? And so when I change that perspective for them, it kind of changes their whole like thinking of like, okay, maybe I am doing it, for this bit, for these people, and I need to like focus on me. It's something I learned from Audrey, just having sessions with her and really looking back at me and telling myself, like, what's the whole point of why I run, right? What's the why in everything in life? What's the why of why I like to race long distance races, right? And at one point, I literally just had this like conversation with Audie, and at one point I realized I was doing it for social media, I was doing it for my business, I was doing it for my coaching, because if I didn't meet the requirements that people needed out of me of fast times and whatever it may be, the distance, then I wasn't a great person, I wasn't a great coach, I wasn't great at anything I was doing. So like, I mean, this lady over here kind of set the tone for me of processing more about my life and like what I want out of it, other than like what it is now, right? So like when I talk to clients, I write a message every week. I write them a message so when they wake up, they see this long message that states whatever I'm intuitively picking up, right? And then I do that, and a lot of them post it, a lot of them cry, a lot of them like really say thank you for like this message, because it's something they need to hear. But it really is you versus you. I mean, in reality, like if you're willing to make the change in fitness or in life, then you're going to be doing it. And it took me a long time to figure that out.
You're such a good example of it.
Yeah.
I mean, can I share a moment of you?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
When I first met you, you weren't running. You know,
Yeah.
you had really like stopped it because of
Yeah.
certain emotions that you were feeling.
Yeah.
And you literally had to power through that.
Mm-hmm.
And you did. You know, I always suggest to my clients, I've got all these tools, use them, you know, and you use them and you use them well. And you overcame some huge hurdles, literally.
Stupid hurdles.
But you
Yeah.
did it, and now you're in a position, once you've done that, once you've been there, done it, those people that come to you, whether they're coming for the training or
Yeah.
learning how to run or whatever that thing is,
Yeah.
because you've been there, done that, you're able to, you know, draw them in that direction. So kudos.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I don't really think about like you gave me the homework, right? And I mean, you gave me homework like 2 months ago that I haven't even like processed yet, right? But like I process it mentally, but I know I got to put on paper. I know you're going to scold me for that at some point down the road, but
Never.
But I think at some point, yeah, I went through, I felt like I went through hell. Like when Craig was talking about his situation in life, I felt like I went through that. And it was a can of worms, and, you know, everything was here, all over the place. And I think the biggest thing for me was just accepting where you're at and going from there, right? And then taking like small steps to get to the bigger picture, right? So my bigger picture at that time was to go run outside without feeling any type of anxiety or panic attack, right? And then it kind of moved from that to other things. And then, you know, doing more sessions with Nick opened up more stuff of, I mean, in reality, like Audie's the one who pushed me to even take classes with you. I didn't even want to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, this is going to be good for you.
You're
And-
referring to your wife.
Yeah, my wife. She's
Audie.
right there. Hey, babe.
Watching.
Hi, Audie.
Oh, I thought it was you.
Well, there's
That's
Audrey-
my
there's-
kid in the back seat,
Yeah.
actually. That's Audie in the back seat. His wife.
Our
Yeah.
I
wife.
thought that was your nickname.
yeah,
It actually is.
It is.
But his wife's name is really
Adriana. But,
We call her Audie.
Audi and Audi. All right. Okay.
AUDI and ADI.
so I think it's funny. Like, it's just, life is funny itself. Like, you just look at it and you get to a stage and you realize like, man, like I could be doing so much. And I think that's what, like taking classes with Nick and then learning that aspect and then transforming what I've learned from both of you guys, the Newmonts to the business, has been like a night and day, right? Like I think people understand more about who I am as a person. And because of that, we have a podcast now. I mean, like it's been helping us like brand ourselves more. So we're trying to put more of ourselves out there. Audie's starting to like do some sessions now on people. And
Good.
so,
Can you give an example of something he taught you that you manifested, and or something, the suggestions he made, or some place that he led to you specifically? What? Give an example of something that you.
that's just 5 years of working with Nick.
I know, but maybe
I
one day
mean-
you have an experience that you had. He said this, and you oh, okay.
Well, the last session I had with him, he told me I don't need to prove anything to anyone about my running. And that's when something hit me in the head and said, it's time to quit the fucking gym. Sorry, I mean to say that. But it's time to quit the gym and get your crap together, right? And so I think that moment really shifted a lot of things, because I think I saw you like, I think 3 times within that like 2 months, because there was so much energy from people latching on to me. I'm super empathic. So I think the last time you cleared it all out and you said, this is what you need to focus on and this is what you need to do, and you shouldn't worry about X, Y, Z. But then again, I mean, I've been on cleansings with Nick. I've learned a lot just from that itself. And maybe that's not my forte, right? Even though Audie will say something completely different, but just being part of that and seeing that type of realm and like what I can do as a healer, right? It really does, like, it really did help me process, like, I really am gifted and I really am this, and Nick and Audrey and everyone else in the center see me as this person, but I need to accept it, right? And I didn't accept it at first, but now learning the tools has taught me. I mean, I was a TA for you.
Yes.
I did multiple classes with you. I had multiple sessions with Miss Newman over here. So I think just in general, just the combination of like you were kind of like that father figure I needed. Like you were that like male figure I didn't have in my life growing up as a kid. And it was like easier to like talk to you about stuff, talk about life. And
Did he beat you at all?
all the time, 2x4
With a nail.
Say, go give me something to beat
behind
you
the Bible.
Give
You
me
know,
something to beat you with.
Jeez, right.
You know, he's from Pennsylvania. That's how they roll there. I know where he's from. They'll beat your ass.
he's a
The wooden
Steeler.
spoon.
With a wooden spoon with a hole in it, so they extra
Air.
extra air.
It's so funny. I want to point out something. It's like when you have, both of you are an example of this, where for I can name 100 clients. When you have those hard moments that you go through, and you take those hard moments and you learn from them and you gain that wisdom, then you take that wisdom and you put it into whatever that tool is that you use to be of service in the world. Like for me, I never ever planned on having a podcast or writing a book, but Spirit guides me and I have to follow. So I am able to use my hard ass shit and be able to put it into a direction where people can hear me. You've got the same thing where you're able to create that running club and you're able to inspire and motivate people in the way that you do. And then when you're using your lafitations and you're able to help people in that form, I mean, that's so unique in itself. That's a very big gift. Mm-hmm. So when you are able to overcome your anxiety and you're now that person that's pulling those people along with you, I think that's a huge part of all of this. But gaining that spiritual aspect of it first, I think in the world right now, that's one of those things that is like, needs to be first and foremost, because I think that's where people get that disconnect and they get divided with each other and they get into that, let's just say,
100%.
stuff.
Divided is actually divided from the head to here. That's the issue, is everybody's in their head, in their fears and their doubts and their worries. So now there's this disconnect to your true spirit and your true essence that speaks to us.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of spirit, we're going to, Ed, do we have Alexandra? Everybody stay here. We're speaking of spirits. That's a great segue. Let's bring Alexandra McComb back on from Zoom.
Oh, I was going to say, sit on my lap. I never met her before, for God's sake.
Well, you're going to meet her
There's
now.
no more room here.
She's my number one. She channels Golden Arrow.
Hi, Alexandra. We can't.
Alexandra,
We can't hear you.
Oh.
wait. You need to turn on your mic. Turn on your mic. She's got Hugh there
She's
with
in
her.
that square. She looks like the Wizard of Oz over here. I'm the great and powerful Alexandra.
I got her audio on.
She has a microphone there.
Well, while we're getting her on, what were you starting to say? Because I think that was really important.
Well, I was talking about, and I was wondering what your process is in tapping into that source that really does speak to us. As you were told to write a book, you were told, this is what. And I think that so many people are putting everything into the news and what they're told with the news, which is all about, let me get you upset, and then have the drug company sponsor the news that handles the anxiety we just gave you. So it's a whole cycle that's going on. Yeah. So my first step when I coach people is do not watch the news anymore. Zero happens. I'm on a news fast and I feel fantastic. Now I can be quiet and listen to what you've been told, what we've all been told. You can't hear that with all the distractions and all the noise out there.
Right.
Well, fear creates that disconnect.
Absolutely. And they rely on that. Since the beginning of time, by the way, that's how you promote it. How do you think people go to war against countries they have no idea even where the country is? They do it because they're convinced through fear that you're going to have something taken away from you. Here's what you need to do to prove yourself or whatever it is. It's a whole paradigm that's been around for centuries. Yeah. And yet step away from it and let's see who we truly are. Who we truly are is love, light, and laughter.
Right.
That's who we are. So get in it.
Right.
Mind, body, and spirit. You're tapped into that body thing, and you combine it with the mental and the spiritual, and we're all good.
When you're on a long run, and you're in the flow, do you feel yourself channeling, or I know it's a meditation of sorts.
Yeah, I like to say it's meditation. At some point, you're like, F this shit. But yeah, I think.
Got her back?
Yeah, I think at some point you just process life itself, and then you start to think about like those good things that like you become more grateful for everything around you, and then it does channel that God, because God's within ourselves, right? So like what I believe in, so it does definitely happen to me.
Let's see if we can get Alexandra back. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes, there we go.
There we go. The great and powerful.
Thumbs up.
You look so beautiful, Alexandra.
Yeah, you're glowing.
you.
You're down in Mexico, right?
I am. Yes, I'm in Baja.
See, now she and her husband Hugh, they keep threatening that they're going to have these retreats down there in this beautiful part of Baja.
Yeah.
We're waiting.
That's all right. You won't. We're still working on it.
Good. Now, Alexandra actually goes back to, she actually was at the Sherman Oaks studio of Elliot Talk Radio in the big video room. So, yes, and you've been on either one of our shows a number of times. We love having you on, and we love when you come to the center. So, for those that are watching, if they don't know who Alexandra is, she channels a multitude of spirits that she quantifies as golden arrow. Okay, and
Has she ever met Merlin?
Oh yeah, they
No,
now
channel
that was
together.
a loaded question. Did you hear what he just asked?
Merlin and the
Yes.
Golden Arrow. That sounds
Yes.
like a movie. I would go see that movie.
We had
Merlin
this
and the Golden
idea to have them channel at the same
Yes,
time,
channel
so
at the
they
same
talk
time.
to each other.
I love that. That's
It's
a great
awesome.
idea.
So when we have events at the center, she'll come out for about an hour and channel Golden Arrow. Then she takes a break. I'll come out and channel Merlin for about an hour, and then a break, and then we both come out, and the spirits interact with each other. Isn't it fun, Alexandra? I mean, I have no idea
Well,
what's going on.
You know,
Neither one of them
you and
do.
you and I are not really privy to what they talk about, but what we hear from the people that are there is that it's really profound. And I know for me, Golden Arrow is profound. No matter who they're interacting with, and I channel them for Hugh and myself all the time. And even then, I re-listen to it, and it's like another world, another place, another time, and something that we're all working towards, you know? So the two gentlemen that you have there with you, I've been watching the show from the start tonight. I love the guests that you've had on.
Thank you.
But these two gentlemen here that you're now talking to, yes, really have two, you know, they're different. One is a comedian, and the other one is an athlete. And yet, they have come to know who they really are through the contrast that they've had in their lives. And now they're using that to not only help humanity, but to lead them on the path that they want to go. So I was listening to the experiences that they've had that brought them to where they are now. And very similar to me and the journey that I've had. It's always been, for me, through depression, through circumstances that were, I felt at that time, beyond my control. But it brought me to who I am today. And it's those experiences that I, when I'm not channeling, can share with humanity and say, been there, done that. And I can tell you that if you'll stay on the path, you will be.
I have a question. It sounds like we all share something similar, and I'm wondering this could go out to anyone. Do you ever sometimes when something else happens, you just go, oh, come on, really, God? Come on, can I just skate for a little while? Do I really have to be challenged? Another one, really? And anytime something's going, I'm oh, this is awesome. And it's almost like God has us as, you know, messengers of saying, okay, I'm going to put you through another one. I'm going to put you through another one. Have you ever had that moment where you just go, enough, come on, really?
All the time.
Oh,
You know what's fascinating?
Can I relax?
On the 405.
Can I skate? Can I skate for a little while? You know, do you ever have that happen to you where you just go, come on, have a conversation with God, or like Neil Donald Walsh? Have you ever had that conversation? Go, enough. Okay, I got the lessons. All right, spread them around. Do you ever have that happen, Alexander?
Yes, I was close to determining how I was going to end my life.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it was at that moment, literally at that moment, that spirit showed up. And I was at either I'm not going to stay, or I am going to stay. And if I stay, how hard is this going to be? So yes, to answer your question, you would think that God would let up a little bit, but you know what? How do we grow? How do we become more without that? Because when we're skating, do we really appreciate the skate?
Yeah, it's difficult. Sometimes you wonder, why am I the one? You know, I mean, it's so many other people. It seems like they just have it. I don't want to say easy, but they just, inherit things. They inherit money. They inherit whatever it is. I mean, it just seems like some people.
Don't think that that's easier. Don't think that's easier.
It seems it
It's
is.
not.
I like a couple days. I remember my ex-wife. She left because she was in a golden cage. I had her in a golden cage, and that's what her guru, cult leader, told her. And I'm like, hey, I'll go in a golden cage for a little while. I'll get a switch up with you. Give me a golden cage. Go line it up. Go ahead. I'd love to live in there for a minute. But it just it seems like not my destiny.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I can say, let me say this real quick, hold that thought, is that the common denominator of everyone that's on this show tonight did not have it easy.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yep.
I just had this in session today. This woman was just having such a hard time, and she goes, you know what, I just keep having it so hard, and I'm looking at people, and by this time, I should have it good, like these people that I see that are going on vacations, and they're doing this, and they're doing that. And I said, look, I want to tell you something. I know those people, and they present to the world, and they're all fabulous. But when they come into my office, the part that you see is the part that they show you, where it's like they've got the money, they're going on the vacation, but their love life is fucked up, or their health is a mess, or whatever the thing is. Everybody's got whatever their journey is, and the trick is when we have those moments. Like I just had a moment recently. I might be talking about it on my little show tomorrow night. When you have those moments, rather than saying, shit, this is something I got to do again, it's like, all right, I'm going to ride this puppy. I'm going to ride this puppy to the other side of it, where I'm going to own my power, and I'm going to own my word. I'm going to own that thing that this thing is to teach me, and I'm doing it. So you get to the point where it's like you embrace it or you resist it. But if you're embracing it and you're asking your guides, your highest, that part of you, you're asking yourself, what the hell am I learning here? Just fucking show me now. And allow for that to show up.
I just want to be massaged and loofah'd for a week.
And then do that.
No responsibility, not a single bill. Just get the loofah, do my back. I can't get my own back.
Why do you think I go on my solo camping trips? That's
you
exactly
can't loofah
it.
yourself if you go solo.
God. Alexander, stay with us through the end of the show.
Excuse
we
my
don't have
language, by the way.
another Zoom. Brandon, I'm going to let you go so
I'm going.
Michelle can come
Brandon.
in.
All right, thank you.
I got to
guys.
go too.
You got to go.
Well, I got to go back to my kids.
Oh, okay. Then we'll should go.
Is it
So
time?
I think
Yeah,
that
it's
we
time.
should be having one of your laugh-atations at the office.
Well, I have got
Really?
big plans for you that you don't know about.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. So there's going to be more than that. I'm going to bring a whole community together, and our community in this area, business people, entrepreneurs, but also people who are enlightened and want to be on that enlightened path.
Love it.
Combine it all and actually have channeling, have tarot cards, have all sorts of music, all the celebrations of life that we have, and expressing our creativity. That's
I like that.
bring us all together.
Yeah.
Now everybody who's from another area is jealous because they don't get to come. They have to be within 30 miles. That's my business.
She can
plan.
be close up in Arrowhead. It's an hour or so away, so she can be
Yeah,
here.
you can be here. All right.
So we want to have you. We want to have you back at the center too. So let us know when you're back in this area. We'll plan that. But stay with us because we're gonna bring someone else on. Are you taking off?
Yeah, I'm going to take off. CraigShoemaker.com.
Right.
I coach. Come see me. We're all about the alchemy of laughter. You too, Alexandra. Come on, show up.
And for my friends in Florida, he is going to be in Tampa on November 17th, I believe, right?
A lot of places. You just go to my site. I'm actually heavy duty working.
I got a family
all my
in
shows this
Tampa.
year. are benefit shows. All proceeds go to my ex-wife. So listen, so your cover charge goes to Botox and Pilates class and making videos that tell people what to do when you don't do it. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of my bitterness. All right, I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you all.
We'll see you again. All right.
So
Come on, to slide over here. All right. So under the heading of
We're saying goodbye to Brandon too.
Yeah.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Brandon, for you coming on too. You were quite an inspiration to so many.
Right.
Seriously, you keep doing
I try
what
to
you're
be.
doing.
Thank you so much.
We love you very much, and Audie as
I
well.
look forward to working out with you more.
Not Audie, just me. Just kidding.
Oh God.
Hang on.
You're like, I'm her favorite.
One more second. I forgot to give you my this is one of my sayings, and I brought you a gift. So you
Oh,
Thank
and
you
this is
so
for you.
much.
Oh, thank you. Pull that out and show everybody what it says. It says, it's my saying. You know what my saying is?
Well, I think we do now. Stuck between namaste and kiss my ass.
We're all in that place, aren't
Right?
we? I
this
don't
is
know
great.
I don't know whether embrace you or mace you. It's one of the two.
Oh my God.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon.
That's great.
All right.
Stuck between namaste and kiss my ass. I love
That's
it.
funny. Okay. We have one more guest to bring out, and she also is a great form of inspiration. She's been on the show many times. Come on out, Michelle Guzzi, fellow hypnotherapist.
Let's just get rid of all the men and just get the women on here. Audrey,
This is
Nick.
my show.
It's Nick's show. Sorry.
It's my show.
Sorry. Hello,
No.
beautiful one.
Hi there,
Haven't seen you in a
sweetheart.
while. Hi.
So good to see you.
Yay.
Welcome. So Michelle was an instructor at HMI when I was attending there in 1996, which means you were 9 years old and teaching
I was
hypnotherapy.
10 years old. Yes,
Okay.
about 10. It
And
was great.
one of the things that brought us together is I'm sitting in the big group room and she's doing the group instruction, and I'm watching something fly around her, and so
Oh, I was just going to say that too.
Go ahead.
See, we're psychic.
I know
No, say
psychotic.
it.
So I go into her private office and I introduce myself, and there was already a hubbub that this famous psychic is studying here at HMI, because I had done a lot of TV back.
That was
in those
you? You're the famous psychic?
Yes.
Oh, I
Beverly
forget.
Johnson and all those people.
All you guys, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They signed this famous psychic to study at HMI. Okay, enough of that. So I walk in her office and I said to her, you have a big white owl that's flying around you on stage up there, and she goes, oh, you can see my owl? You were so thrilled.
I couldn't believe it because, first off, I just did a Reiki class and I was learning how to do Reiki. And this was such a long time ago. And that was one of the guides that came to me, an animal totem, because I have Black Panther, I have a few other things, and it was a snowy owl. And I just saw it. And I was just so amazed with it. And then, I'm standing there in the class, and Nick's like, you got an owl above you. And I'm like, what color is it? It's white. And I just couldn't believe that you actually saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And what is so freaky is I was just sitting out there, and we were talking about, well, what are you going to say, when you get on the show? And I want to talk about my owl. And you brought it up. See how cool we are? This is because this is mainstream metaphysics.
That's
this
right.
is why.
Mainstream mental physics. Now, I want to share something with the viewers, okay? Alexandra, you are going to love this story because this just happened, all right? And I didn't get a chance. Well, I actually told Catherine Glass this story on the phone. So recently, I had some things that were kind of gnawing at me, and I called Michelle and I said, I want to have a session of hypnotherapy. And we sat and talked about all kinds of stuff. About me, stuff with Audrey, all kinds of things. And of course, Audrey was, yes, go talk to someone, as she will do. She's very inspirational.
I don't think I said that. I did
You
not
just kicked
say-
him. You just kicked him?
No.
I didn't know, but here's the thing, and I think we can share this. There was something that was going on with us that was a pattern in a relationship.
Right.
And I mean, it just kept not being finished, and he kept saying, I apologize. And it's like, no, you don't understand. I'm not putting up with it anymore. And so he took it upon himself for the first time ever in the 25 years to call you. And that was a very, very big deal. And I think it's important that people get, that's why we go to somebody, because sometimes it's so stuck within us that it requires somebody else to be
Well,
a new perception or mirror.
And by the way, let me say this, and I'm not going to manage the clock real tight because we actually started a little bit late. So before I met Audrey and one of our deceased, Karen at HMI,
Yes.
she's been gone for a few years now, she had a profound effect on me. And it really was things that she worked on and that came to me, like turned me in such a good direction based on past relationships and what I was doing wrong. All right. Fast forward now. So Michelle asked me all kinds of questions. It was a long session. And we know each other. We know enough about each other, but she just dug deeper. All right. So had a really deep hypnosis session, and stuff came out about my father. All right. But deeper than what I realized. And so when I left Michelle's office, I called my sister on the phone and started asking her about, was he like this? Did he do this? Even though my sister's 5 years younger than me, she was around my parents more than I was because I moved away in 1985. All right. So after all that, a lot about my dad that night, and I've had a recurring cough and cold, which is much better now. So I was sleeping in the other bedroom so I don't hack all over Audrey. All right. I wake up at 3:45 in the morning with this most profound experience that most people would say it was a dream, but it wasn't a dream. Okay. So I'm in my office, and Alexandra, my office there at the center, and I'm standing in there, except it being the blue walls, everything was like that Swiss mocha color, which God knows I hate. And and I see these people pull into the parking lot, and I'm thinking, they're early. What are they doing here? They're my clients. And as I'm standing in there, all of a sudden the door to my private office, the handle is jiggling. All right. And it was off-white colored, not the dark brown door. And of course, the protocols at our center, you go to the waiting room, not in the office. So I open the door, and it's my father. All right. And he was bright and brilliant, probably 50-ish, gray hair and all that, and he had this big smile on his face. And when I opened the door and I saw him, I said, "Dad," like that. But the weird thing is, he never really spoke, but I was getting messages from him. And Alexandra, you'll appreciate this part. I was asking him, "What's it like over there?" And all of a sudden there was like a queen-size bed in my office. And so I kind of sat on it, and he playfully, like dove onto it. But then he sort of like just kneeled on it and was just looking at me, smiling. And eventually I woke up. But what happened was, in that, when he was close to me, all this stuff that we're talking about, it's like he reached in and he just took it all away. Yeah. And when I woke up in the morning, I was different. Okay. And you talk about an actual spiritual intervention for someone like that to come in and just pull that out.
Explain what that is that they pulled out, what he pulled out.
The pain that he caused me and things that influenced my behavior. Okay?
The pain that you felt.
What?
The pain that you felt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he didn't do anything to you. You felt that from him. That was the CD-ROM that you
And it was
made.
all this stuff in my upbringing that he did. And Craig was joking earlier about, getting spanked when you're a kid and all that kind of stuff. It's like it just went away. It was amazing. And, once, because my sister's in Pennsylvania, I called her. Well, she definitely got all teary when I told her the story. I shared it with Audrey, and it was very emotional for me. So it was really, thank you, one of the most profound experiences I have ever had in my life. And you and I know that we interact with spirits all the time, and we do what we do, but to experience it on that level is beyond any movie anyone could ever write or produce. You just can't make up, and you can't experience what I experienced. And by the way, with my dad, he was, and I remember what he was wearing, but we never touched, okay? Yeah. He still, even though he looked like very vibrant like this, but we never touched. That's the interesting thing.
You know, and what's so cool is that I do hypnotherapy. We all do hypnotherapy. We're hypnotherapists and metaphysical spiritual practitioners. But, you know, when we were working and talking, I remember that we were talking about all, you know, pain and triggers that happen when we're a child, and we all have them in those formative years, right? 0 till about 8 or 9 or 10. And Nick's like, no, I'm fine. I was fine. And it really wasn't a big thing, or it was, you weren't remembering too much of it. And then for you to have that dream at night about exactly what we were talking about, and for your father to come in, because we were talking about adults and parents and children and all of that, and for him to be able to say, let me take that pain away from you, it was, you know, it was amazing. So with hypnosis, you know, I've been listening to everybody on the show, and we've got, you know, the running, and we've got the comedy and all of this, and to me, everything is a state of hypnosis. Everything is a state of suggestibility. And suggestibility is communication. So how are we communicating with each other? And we've talked about the fears that are out there. What's fear? It's a heightened state of suggestibility. And then I know we're also talking about the news and watching the news. And then we get caught up in the social media and all of that. And what people see on the social media. And they just assume, oh, they have that perfect life. And I have, you know, celebrity clients and so forth. And no, you don't know what's really going on at home. And you don't know what their pains are and so forth. But, you know, I just want to congratulate you, first off, for the show, because it's so educational and so inspirational for me. And I watch it a lot, and we've all known each other for so long. But it's stuff that people need to pay attention to. And I really wish there was more of it out there. I think it's starting to, you know, the social media, the good thing about it is starting to open so many channels and doors that people can come on and have that voice, and people can now have that insight. Well, they didn't know about past life regression. They didn't know that people could actually channel. I didn't know this stuff growing up. We didn't have that on TV. So I think it's so important for this, you know, this avenue that you have in this venue to continue, right, for as long as possible. And your show is absolutely amazing. And to be able to come on the shows and talk with these guys, it's just fabulous. So congratulations.
Thank you. And you, like Alexandra, go ahead, Alexandra, go ahead.
Yes, Golden
Do you
Arrow
see my
is
owl?
sitting
Did
here.
she see my owl? That's what I want to know.
Golden Arrow would like for you to know, Nick, that vision, I'll call it a vision rather than a dream, that vision that you had was an agreement that your father made with you before you incarnated, that when you were ready to release and to have that be taken from you, that he would come to you and do that. So that was an agreement that was made with you before you incarnated. And he would
Thank
like
you for
for you
saying
to know.
that. Well, there's another interesting synchronicity to that, and I told Audrey this, and the guides told me this, that Audrey has said to me about some of my patterns that I've been doing those for 25 years. All right, the number 25. My dad was 25 when I was born. Age 25. That's just, I don't know. When
It's all connected.
it is all connected.
Everything's connected.
You know, before COVID hit, and this is something that both of you have in common, the show at LA Talk Radio in Sherman Oaks had moved over to the video room instead of the little audio room. And you had actually physically been there, not just over StreamYard or Zoom. And you had been there a couple times. And in that time going into like December, January of 20, the viewership was going through the ceiling. I remember, and of course, the people that have been appearing on tonight's show were either because they were early in the incarnation of the show or your viewership was really high. Both of you, I mean, before, when COVID hit, it was too bad because you were on successive shows and it was like 800-900 views. I mean, it was amazing. we were doing so well, and when you would be on, Alexandra, the number of views that we would get, then I know that COVID hit and everybody had to refigure things out. But thank you, both of you, and to, everyone that's been appearing on the show, because it is the guests that make the difference. I could sit here all night and just talk, which gets kind of dry after a while, but because of all of you, including Audrey, that you do so many different diverse things, it makes the show, remember the Ed Sullivan show years ago with all the different acts and all that kind of stuff? That's what I look forward to, is like, who's going to be on the show that brings in something different, and how they approach some form of spirituality, therapy, metaphysics, whatever it is.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's been an interesting 5 years, and the funny thing is that there are times that guests will say things because we are live, we don't have a 7-second delay, and you can't censor some of the things that people say at times. And I don't mean dropping F-bombs, I mean comments that are made that does not go over well with the audience. That's happened a few times. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do with that?
Live, and there's
it's
the contrast,
live, right? And
Exactly.
it's just different people's opinions and their thoughts and their feelings and expression of what's going on. But even during COVID, because you were still doing the show,
Yes.
you were still doing the show during COVID, even though we didn't have that place that we were going to.
Right.
You still continued, and people still could tune in and learn and really start figuring out, well, what's going on with me? What do I do with society? What do I do with what's happening in the environment, and how is this affecting me? So hopefully those people that are listening and are your viewers, they continue to be aware of, you have the power inside of you to make these changes. We're just introducing them to you, all of these different concepts. And then when you go to your center, there's so many different classes and so many different, wonderful things that you guys teach, that it just empowers you. And so you just have to be open. And I always tell people, be open and curious. Be open and curious, because who knows, like what right now, talking with Golden Arrow, talking with all of you, who knows what this is going to trigger, and what doors going to open, what opportunity is going to go up.
Right, exactly.
You never know.
There's a big part of it of actually taking that opportunity, though. The amount of people, it starts to get a little, interesting for them, and they don't take that next step. They just kind of don't do what it is that he recommends. I'm sure you've had people that don't do what you recommend. It's like,
all
if you
right.
can
It's alignment.
say it
It's
again.
just alignment. It's okay.
Yes.
It's just
It is
alignment.
okay.
It's alignment.
I'm not
Right.
saying
Don't
it's
get
not
it.
okay, but with
Yeah,
what she's
don't get
saying,
it.
when you can take that and you do that, it's like,
It's look at your fear. What is that fear? Really, what's the fear that's holding you back? It's the fear of what if. What if I make a mistake? What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't know how to do it? Plus, we work with the subconscious mind. Is it in your subconscious programming to do it? And if you've never experienced that, I've had some clients, we were talking about channeling the other day, and they were just floored. Well, how's that even possible? Well, who are you talking to? How could they come in and talk through you? And we're talking about the different types of channeling. And it just wasn't what they grew up with.
Right.
So that
Exactly.
wasn't in their, in their toolbox, in their basket. So automatically they're going to have a fear. But it's
Truly.
just, it's what did they say? Feel the fear and do it anyway. It's just, how can you experience, life to the fullest? And the answer is always no if you don't try, and if you don't even ask.
Right.
You will always stay in the same place.
We're getting down near the end. I want to do something real quick. Hey, Ed,
Yeah.
would you come out on stage for a quick moment? I want you, yes. I want everyone to know who is behind the scenes, because I refer to Ed.
He's going to go do hair and makeup. Hold on. He's like, hold on, let me do my hair and makeup.
And but I want everyone to see, because you know who Becca is. She's co-hosted with me, but I just want Ed to come out and say hello real quick, because
Let me, I guess we should do it.
Becca, come on out too.
Go out first.
Okay.
No, go ahead. 'Cause I gotta switch this.
So we are here at Conejo Valley Talk Radio, and all of you know Becca Hennessy. She is co-hosted. She is part owner of the studio, and thank you for opening this up so we
I'll
could
come around
do this.
behind. I'll just
And
sit-
then
Yeah.
back
stand
here
behind.
is the producer and runs the board. This is Ed Hunt,
Ta-da!
or as I like to say, Ed friggin' Hunt.
Absolutely.
And yes, and when we play Celebrity with the group that you've met earlier, Ed is there. In fact, Ed has a very interesting way of giving a clue, and he's very deliberate about it. And he'll look at the piece of paper and he'll put his glasses on, and the clock's not running yet, and so we say if the 30 seconds past, the Ed Hunt rule is in effect.
exactly.
You got to give the clue. So anyway, but Ed, thank you. Thanks for
Ed.
doing what you do.
Yay.
And for both of you, thank you for, opening up this studio so that we can do this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I like the studio effect of what it brings, but that's just me.
Well, we
it's
love
mostly,
you.
but it's mostly you. You got to realize it's you, and what you bring to the table here is really amazing. And, like I told you, for me, you've been my spiritual mentor.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's good stuff.
But it's also the guests that come on and what they do. And
absolutely.
Their diversity.
Just
and
realize you
their-
brought it all together, though. You're the core. You're the cohesive energy behind all of that. So it's really quite sweet. It's a testimony to who you are.
Thank you. And her.
Well, absolutely. Well, without her,
There wouldn't be you.
There is no
Probably.
Nick without Audrey.
Right. Exactly. So thank you as always. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
I got to go back and
Yep.
make sure
And we're
everything works.
gonna close out. We're gonna close out. Alexandra, we're gonna end a few minutes. Anything else of any kind of inspiration that you would like to say?
Well, we're in a time right now that is very tenuous. The energy is very high, and Golden Arrow has been working with people in my own spiritual work that I do with them. And the comment from Golden Arrow is just hold the space of love, knowing that the outcome is always going to be for our highest good. Always.
Nice.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Will do.
And we look forward to seeing you live and in person at some point sooner than later.
How can people get a hold of you, Alexandra?
So my email is goldenarrowchanneling in the number 9 at gmail.com.
Okay.
Wonderful.
She's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to another Merlin Golden Arrow event in the new year.
Let's do that. I'll be in town coming up in the next couple months. I'm actually in town every second week now, but hard for me to get away because I'm committed to my work environment
Right.
and my store.
And the holidays are
but-
coming.
Yes, and the holidays are coming up too. So probably after the first of the year, and things will be different after the first of the year too. So that probably will be a good time frame to do it.
Good. Wonderful.
Maybe March or April.
Okay. Look forward to it. Thank you again
Yeah.
for being a part of the show all these years. We do appreciate it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? Love it.
Thank you. And to
Yes, thank you.
ladies, thank you for being on, and a lot more shows to come. And thank you to everyone, that watches this. Where have the 5 years gone? They've gone to a lot of good places, and we've touched on a lot of people, with my show and Audrey's show, and a lot more to come. Humankind makes things interesting, and we respond, to the need, and then we give them what they need. And I look forward to a lot of years ahead of working with people, helping people, whether live or media, whatever it is. As Carolyn was saying earlier, it's about having fun. And we
Right.
do have fun doing what we do. So we're going to say, ladies, let's say good night to everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And we will see you down the road. Thanks as always. Remember, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, And see you here.